Good morning. My name's Pixie and I'm the author of Agnotology in Vaccines. I'm going to do a book reading for you today from, where are we? Oh, we're going to talk about the Australian Government's Immunisation Handbook, 10th edition. I'm going to rip it to shreds for you. But first, we're going to do a bit of propaganda and the role of regulatory bodies in Australia. Oh, before I forget, if you want your own copy of Agnotology in Vaccines, then click the link on this page somewhere. Let's get going. Propaganda and the role of regulatory bodies. When we get to the top of the food chain in what passes for health and science in Australia, is where we can really start to see what's going on. The piddling little company that is at the centre of the Australian vaccine conflicts of interest controversy is called Prima Biomed. They've since had a name change. Sitting at the helm of this company as chairperson is the Prime Minister's wife, A1, Lucy Turnbull. Did you know that prior to the so-called no jab, no pay legislation, the government was made fully aware of the lies and bullshit surrounding the entire vaccine industry because at least one fully researched and referenced document was submitted to a Senate committee inquiry in the process? Have you ever had that nice little daydream thought where the government are the good guys looking out for you and your family? Sorry, that's a lie. All they're doing is, quote, applying a risk management approach designed to ensure therapeutic goods supplied in Australia meet acceptable standards of quality, safety and efficacy when necessary. End quote. Did you see anything in that sentence that says, we will protect you? That's not their job. I don't know about you, but I for one would like to see a safety management approach. Risk management means to manage risk. This looks to me like they know there is risk, but they do it anyway. Which, in a humanitarian light, would mean that this is a practice that must be stopped immediately. After all, there is risk to human health involved. But in a how many dollars can I get for me light, to manage risk is most appropriate, especially when you don't vaccinate your own children. There is concern that if healthcare providers do not adequately address parents' concerns, vaccine confidence and trust will be further eroded. Hey, how about just showing parents the list of ingredients? Surely that will fix any concerns. What? No? That would upset them? Then stop pushing parents that have figured out the vaccine scandal. There is more than enough low-hanging fruit to pluck from those that absolutely refuse to look at the evidence. Why are there publications such as this? Enhanced school-based surveillance of acute adverse events following immunisation with human papillomavirus vaccines in males and females 2013, if vaccines are safe and effective. The government's Australian Immunisation Handbook 10th edition. When you read the literature search strategy employed by the committee putting together the 2017 Handbook update, it states that they only searched inside the years 2006 to 2011. Why did they leave out 6 years' worth of medical literature out of their searches? Quote, the ATAGI and NCIRS technical writers also identified, where possible, focused clinical questions for each of the handbook chapters in advance of conducting literature searches. What they mean here is that the writers of the handbook made up their own questions to enter into the search queries. When you use these databases, depending on exactly what your search term is, will shape the results you get returned. For instance, if I search one of these databases with the question, is mercury safe in vaccines? I would get all the research papers that started with that hypothesis question. If you know about the confirmation bias in research, then you will know that a positive result is more often attained than a negative. Therefore, when you ask a question like, is mercury safe in vaccines? Then you are most likely to get a yes response from the study. If the government researchers asked of the databases, is mercury unsafe in vaccines? They might have come up with some very different results. Oddly, on the government websites, it says that they used the most up-to-date information available in their 2017 Australian Immunisation Handbook update. How then can they also tell us that the research done for this update was only until 2011? They excluded the last 6 years' worth of research. The Australian Immunisation Handbook 10th edition is the handbook for consumers of vaccines. Herein lies the main thrust of the governmental reasons why they say that vaccines are safe and effective. The reference list total for this 580-page booklet is 1,802 references. Of these references, we find Centres for Disease Control and Prevention references, 97 of those. Australian Communicable Diseases Intelligence references, 96. Australian Government Miscellaneous references, 53. WHO references, 52. That's WHO as in the World Health Organisation. Dr. Paul Offord references, total 40. National Vaccine Storage Guidelines. Strive for 5, 2nd edition, from the Australian Government Department of Health and Ageing references. There's 23 of those. The American Academy of Pediatrics references, 17. Gidding HF references, 15. Julia Brotherton references, 14. Hannah JN references, 14. Nuff M references, 11. Australian Communicable Diseases Network references, there's only 10 of those. Australasian Societies references, there's 7 of those. Australian Institutes references, 3. They've also quoted Boy, B-O-O-Y, 4 times. GlaxoSmithKline references, 3. So here we've got the recommended by the government vaccine schedule and consumer's handbook to go with, and 96 of the references are from themselves. Oops, make that 96 plus 53. And we can't forget the 23 references to the National Storage Guidelines. That's 172 references by the government for the government. The infamous Offord gets 40 references. Of course, they also quoted a few references from the vaccine manufacturers, the most non-impartial information that there is. They make the vaccines. In addition, they also quote references from numerous doctors that have conflicts of interest with the vaccine manufacturers and have or are currently working for the government. There are other individuals on that reference list that are also employed by the government. They also dare to quote the Verstraeten study, the study that ended up being published out of the Simpsonwood Conference in 2000. There's so many problems with that study, it's a joke. I hope you're starting to get a feel for what's really going on here. And I hope that you're getting a lot of information out of these videos. Thank you for watching. Oh, and if you want your own copy of Agnotology in Vaccines, please click on the link below. I hope you have an awesome day.